Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. Well, it took pretty much my entire lifetime, but I have seen the light. I have realized the truth. And credit to a lot of people. They tried to warn me. They tried to tell me. They tried to explain to me the situation at West Virginia. And I have finally realized and have accepted the truth at West Virginia. West Virginia University is not committed, not all in to football. No, we're not. Because we're not even paying our coaches Power 5 coaching salaries. We're never going to have a decent coaching staff if we're not willing to shell out some money. West Virginia is stuck in mediocrity. Listen, there are no Don Nealons left out there. None. This is not the 1980s, 90s, or early 2000s. You're not going to find a diamond in the rough who's willing to stay at West Virginia his entire lifetime with a group of 5 salary if he has success. 2 options, West Virginia, 2 options. Go out and spend the money right now on a Power 5 coaching staff. Or number 2, you do get a diamond in the rough, and later on you're going to have to pay a Power 5 salary. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to keep that coaching staff either. Why have we not learned from Clemson? Look at the Clemson culture, West Virginia. West Virginia, listen, Clemson used to be in the same exact scenario as West Virginia. Yeah, they did. Just a short decade ago, Clemson used to be in the same exact scenario as West Virginia. They had a decent tradition. They did have 1 national championship. That's something that West Virginia could never say they had. They did have 1 national championship, but they were spinning their wheels in the mud. They were going nowhere. What happened? They got a guy by the name of Dabo Swinney. Didn't realize he was going to be a diamond in the rough, but he turned out to be a diamond in the rough. Got blasted in the Orange Bowl. Made major changes after that Orange Bowl. And ever since then, Clemson has been elite. 2 national championships, multiple appearances in the playoffs. They won the ACC 6 or 7 straight years in a row. They might win the ACC again this year and get to the playoffs. And who knows, maybe another trip to the national championship is in the cards for Clemson. That's what all in looks like. You cannot expect to play the penny pincher role and expect to be in the position of an Alabama, a Clemson, a whoever's having success right now. And I'm not saying we can go out and get Nick Saban. That price is too high for us right now. But listen, in order to make money, you have to invest money. Those playoff appearances, those New Year's Six Bowls, those national championship appearances, those national championships, they bring in a lot of money. So the investment eventually does pay off. But you have to be willing to put that initial investment in. And right now, West Virginia is proving they are not willing to put that initial investment in. What am I talking about? Well, I've made several videos about how Neal Brown's going to be fired after the end of the season because that's what I was hearing from all over the place. Now I'm hearing the complete opposite. The complete opposite. West Virginia is 4-7. We are playing for absolutely nothing against Oklahoma State on Saturday. We're 4-7. We're not going to a bowl. And I'm hearing win, lose, or draw. Neal Brown is keeping his job. In what universe does that make sense? None. None. Unless West Virginia has accepted mediocrity. That's the point I'm making with this video. And I'm not happy about it. Listen, us West Virginia fans, we have to listen to the ridicule. We have to listen to the inbred jokes. We have to listen to the drug jokes. All that stuff. And now that West Virginia is showing that we're not committed to football, guess what? We're going to have to listen to those jokes for a very, very long time. Thank you, West Virginia. Really appreciate that. Awesome. There was a light at the end of the tunnel whenever we all found out that Shane Lyons was fired. Because most of us thought, hey, Shane Lyons was the guy that was holding on to Neal Brown. We got to get rid of him if we want to get rid of Neal Brown. And we did. We got rid of Shane Lyons. There's the light at the end of the tunnel. It looks like bye-bye Neal Brown. And I also heard rumors that if Neal Brown lost to Oklahoma, then he was going to be gone after the game. Did that game save his job? Did that one win save his job? Still go 4-8 because we're going to lose to Oklahoma State, guys. That's happening. We're losing to Oklahoma State. Still go 4-8. But because we beat Oklahoma for the first time since being in the Big 12, a bad Oklahoma, that saved his job? That doesn't make sense. Why would that save his job? He is 21 and 25 at West Virginia. Listen to this. Here's a mind blower. In his 4 years at West Virginia has never, ever even been ranked in the top 25. Think about that, people. West Virginia has never been ranked in the top 25 under Neil Brown. That's not good. That's not cutting it at all. The first year I gave him a break, 5-7, the coverage bear. I made excuses for Neil Brown. A lot of people didn't want to hear those excuses. But yeah, I made excuses for Neil Brown. Second year, 6-4. Wow. Big improvement. Shane Lyons, though, with that contract extension and pay raise, no, not based on 6-4. That was a stupid, stupid decision. But still, he got the raise, he got the extension, 6-4. Things are looking good. Then the next year, 2021, slight regression, 6-7. We got blown out by Minnesota in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl and finishing under 500 at 6-7. That's not good. Then this year, a major, major step back. We made a lot of good decisions in the offseason whenever it came to offense. We did. We got an actual offensive coordinator in Graham Harrell that attracted JT Daniels, and it is a fact. Our offense has been better. Now, these past 4 games hasn't looked all that great, but overall, the offense has been better. But our defense has taken a massive step backwards. Significant. We're one of the worst defenses in the entire nation. And I know, Neil Brown is recruiting at a high level. This is year 4. Year 4, and we're not getting to a bowl. Him recruiting at a high level, year 4, we're not getting to a bowl. What does that tell you? He can't get the job done. Even at recruiting at a high level, he's not getting the job done. He wasn't ready for West Virginia. He might have to take the Luke Fickell route. Wasn't quite ready for the Power 5 level. Luke Fickell goes back to Cincinnati, and now he's one of the hottest names as far as a Group of 5 coach that's wanted at the Power 5 level. Neil Brown might have to take that route, and no, that doesn't mean that West Virginia would have made a mistake by firing Neil Brown. It just means he had to take the same route as Luke Fickell because he wasn't ready the first go around. And that's what I'm seeing in Neil Brown. I do think that in the future, Neil Brown could have success in the Power 5 level. He just wasn't ready. He just wasn't a good fit at West Virginia. But why are we keeping him and giving him 1 more year? I have no idea. That makes no sense. I understand buyout. Well, we got to stop the penny pinching crap. We got to eat that buyout and go get a Power 5 coaching staff, pay them $7 million a year because, yes, West Virginia can't afford that. Look, 2 instances. Rich Rod, no, we don't like how he left, but the reason he left was legitimate. He asked for a raise for himself and his assistants, a raise that he knew West Virginia had the money for, otherwise he wouldn't have asked for. West Virginia said no, he went on his way, and yes, he failed at Michigan, had a decent career at Arizona, but West Virginia could be a powerhouse right now if Rich Rod would have stayed at West Virginia, if West Virginia would have obliged and given him the raise that they could have afforded. The second instance is Dana Holgorsen. Dana Holgorsen also asked West Virginia for a raise in which he knew West Virginia had the money to give him. Now, I'm thankful that West Virginia did not give him that raise, but the point is, they knew that West Virginia had that money to give them the raise. West Virginia is not spending the money that they need to spend the money on football. Something is wrong at West Virginia. Where is that money going to? West Virginia has good boosters. We can afford to pay our coaches more than a Cincinnati, more than a UCF, more than a Liberty, more than a freaking Kentucky. Yes, we can afford more than those programs, and yet those programs are paying their coaches more than we do. And no, I'm not saying that Neil Brown deserves that kind of money. What I'm saying is we can go out and outpay Liberty to get Hugh Freeze or whoever we want if that name is attainable. I'm not talking about a Nick Saban or a Dabo Swinney or anybody like that. I'm talking about like a Hugh Freeze, a Lance Leipold over there at Kansas. Names like that. Those are attainable. West Virginia does have the money, but for whatever reason, we want to keep penny pinching, and hopefully it works out. It's not going to work out. We have to be all in, just like Clemson is right now, if we want to have the success like Clemson is having right now. That's the recipe. There is no way around it. You're not going to get around it. You're going to have to invest. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck spinning our wheels, barely making a bowl, or missing bowls for the rest of my lifetime. And I just can't take that. Changes need to be made. Look at our upcoming schedule for next year. Now, the teams aren't listed in order because the schedule isn't exactly made out, but we know who we're going to play. So our 3 out-of-conference games: at Penn State, FCS Duquesne, and Pitt at home. 3 Pennsylvania teams. I like that out-of-conference. That road trip to Penn State going to be very, very tough. I do think that we can beat Pitt at home. I don't think Pitt's going to be very good next year. So here are all of our road games: at Baylor, at Kansas State, at Oklahoma, and at TCU. If Neil Brown is still our head coach, All of those will be losses. That's 5 losses right off the bat. You add in Penn State, 6 losses. One more loss, we don't make a bowl next year. So what do our home games look like? We get Iowa State. We get Oklahoma State. We get Texas. We get Texas Tech. I'll tell you right now, Texas will probably beat West Virginia in Morgantown if Neil Brown is our head coach. So there you go. Another season without a bowl, 5-7. Oh, one more win if we finish 4-8 this year. Not cutting it. No, it is time to cut ties right now. The morale of the West Virginia fan base is at an all-time low. The only time in my particular lifetime that I've seen the morale of the West Virginia fan base lower than it is right now is right after the 2007 Backyard Brawl. That's it. That's the only thing that's comparable as far as the low of the morale of the West Virginia fan base right now. We have got to get it together. I'm not okay with this. This is unacceptable. Somebody needs to be held accountable. West Virginia, I understand the buyout. It drops down to $13.5 million. We can afford that. Eat that buyout. Let's go get a real Power 5 coaching staff that has proven success. We have tried taking our chances and it just didn't work. We have to get a proven coach. I'm good with the Hugh Freeze. I'm good with the Lance Leipold. I'm good with the Matt Rule. And I'm good with the Tom Herman. Those are my top 4. Let's go out and get one of those. So y'all let me know in the comments section. Do you think West Virginia is just doomed and we never will be all in football? Second thing is, do you think that we're actually not going to fire Neil Brown? Third thing is, if we don't fire Neil Brown, what do you think our record's going to be next year? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.